Another way that we use attributes and values as described in our activity this week is through links. Links are what make the web work. Okay, so links are really denoted through an A tag. A stands for anchor. So what I can do is, let's say I wanted to link to Texas State University, for example. I'll go ahead and add a new paragraph that says Texas State University. Okay, and I'll close that p tag right there. I can see that at work when I click over here, and there it is. Now the word I want to link is, let's say, I'll say I teach at Texas State University. And say I wanted to link the words Texas State University so that when the user clicks on Texas State University, they actually go to the Texas State University website. Well, what I would need to do is I would need to make my A tag. I would open it before the word. Then I would close it after the word. And so right now we are capturing everything between the opening of my anchor and the closing of my anchor. This is actually the word that they will click on to get to the website. Now nothing's happening yet, and again, that's why we have to make use of attributes and values within the A tag for it to actually work. And the most important attribute is going to be href, H-R-E-F. Do not write H-E-R-F because that would not spell it correctly. H-R-E-F stands for hyperlink reference. And again, we need to do an equals and a quote sign. Now the value that we're going to put in these quotes is the actual website to Texas State University, making sure we're typing in https://txst.edu. Now the reason that we need to do HTTPS is because you can link to many or anchor text to anything. We could make different pages like an about page or a photos page or things like that, and we could link to those pages, in which case we would just type the name of that file right here. You could link to a resume, you could link to an MP3 file. There's lots of links that you could use, and in this case we want to make sure we're saying no, this is a link to an external website. So actually go to the HTTP protocol up here in the address bar. You can also go to txst.edu and you can copy that link, or any website that you want to link, you could just copy it and then you could just paste it right in there as well. And so you don't need to, you'll see it added the www, but you'll see that that will be a direct link to the website. Now when I click over here, it doesn't actually connect, and the reason is because we're here in a little window, within the code sandbox. So to really test to see if this works is I want to open this in a new tab. Okay, what I'm going to do is I'm going to open my whole entire website into its own separate tab. From there, I can click on it and it will go to the Texas State website. So now I need to get my website back up and running here. The easiest way to do that is just by pressing the refresh button in your browser, and it will refresh your entire website experience. Okay, so this brings us to some other attributes and values we could add within our link as well. One example is something called target equals underscore blank. Okay, that's another attribute that we can add to this link. What that does is it will actually open my link in a new tab. And that may actually work here in this little interface. So if I press this refresh button and I press this, it actually does open Texas State's site into a new tab. So hopefully that gives you an idea of what attributes and values are. Not every tag needs to use an attribute and value. You'll see this body is doing just fine. This H1 is doing just fine. There's no attributes and values inside of them. But two major tags that do require the use of attributes and values are going to be your images and your links. Now as far as this assignment, I do want you to add at least 3 links, 3 external links, which are external websites that I want you to put in your page. So, and then I want you to add 3 images. So what I've done in this tutorial is I've shown you 1 link and 1 image, and I want you to make sure throughout your entire site you're adding 3 links, different links to maybe your social media or whatever your site is about, and then 3 different images. Some of those images can be your own, and then others might be ones that you find on the web, but definitely want you to get practice with adding images and links in this week's tutorial.